Oh, 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 oh. Bron, no. Oh, woo.
And that'll do it. It's over. The Bucks have done it. The long wait has ended. After a half century, the Milwaukee Bucks are NBA champions once again.
Hey guys, I know it's been a while since I've talked about sports. I think my last sports video was the Super Bowl recap, so it's been nearly 6 months. I'm sorry, it's not like I haven't been watching sports. It's just that I've been very busy with reviews of movies and TV shows. There's been a lot of content out, my actual job. And to be honest, there hasn't been really anything with sports that I really wanted to talk about, make a video about. But after watching Giannis's performance in Game 6 and everything that's happened in these playoffs, I feel like it's time to make that video. So let's do it. The NBA Finals have come to an end. The Milwaukee Bucks beat the Phoenix Suns 4-2. Giannis Antetokounmpo wins Finals MVP, joining Michael Jordan as the only two players to win multiple MVP awards, a Defensive Player of the Year award, and Finals MVP. I want to talk about the Finals, the playoffs in general, some things moving forward with the NBA, but let's first talk about the Finals because they were fucking incredible. Yes, games 1, 2, and 3 were mostly blowouts, and that's half of the series, but there were so many exciting games, so many games that could have went either way where both teams played fucking incredible. There were so many great moments in these finals. The block that Giannis had, Jrue Holiday's steal, then Giannis's oop, Giannis's 50-point performance. Now I think about it, it's mostly just Giannis that had all these great moments. But let's talk about Giannis now. Let's talk about fucking Giannis because he was absolutely sensational in this series. My God, that Game 6 performance, that 50-point performance, might have been the best game-clinching performance I've ever seen. I mean, there's nothing they could do to stop the guy, and he was making all his fucking free throws, so there really was nothing they could do. I'm so happy for the guy. Go look up his story if you haven't heard. It's incredible. My video's not going to be the one to explain his story. Go look up his story. I would not do it justice. It's insane. He's just a really humble guy, such a likable guy. I'm just fucking happy for him. He definitely deserves it. Everyone gave him shit for staying in Milwaukee, thinking he should have went to a bigger market, teamed up with other players to win a championship, but he proved everyone wrong. He stayed in Milwaukee and won a championship. That's the next thing I really want to talk about is I'm just so happy for Milwaukee. I'm happy for the Milwaukee Bucks because they did something that a lot of people nowadays think is impossible to do in the NBA. Win with a small market team by just building on your own, like drafting the right players, trading for the right players, doing all that. He drafted Giannis, they got Chris Middleton, they traded for Jrue Holiday, and they end up winning a championship, something that people didn't think could be done anymore. People think you have to go to these big markets to make these super teams. And not a knock against like LA or New York or Boston or Miami or anything like that, because obviously that works, and I don't blame them for doing it. Like, that'd be a lot of fucking fun, and you can attract all the best players. Like, why wouldn't you do that? And those teams are fun to watch. But there's just something special about a team that was just built on their own without going after huge free agents and doing all that to win a championship. And they did it. And they did it in a small market. This is fucking great for basketball. This is great for small market teams. I'm happy all that worked out. And then the rest of the team really stepped up in their own way. I mean, Chris Middleton came up huge in so many clutch moments. He had so many great games when they needed him to go off and carry the team, and he absolutely did. Jrue Holiday, I know he didn't shoot very well in these finals, and really in the playoffs in general, he was super inconsistent, but he did everything else right. He facilitated, he did a lot of things that did show up in the stat sheet, like assists and steals and all that, but he also did a lot of things that didn't show up in the stat sheet that really impacted the game. I mean, his steal in Game 5 is absolutely iconic now. He was such a great player for them. It was a great pickup for them, great trade. And then I think I listened to a stat that said he led plus minus for the Bucks throughout the whole playoffs. It just shows how important he was to this team, even though he wasn't really shooting that well. But of course, Giannis was going to win Finals MVP. I mean, he shot over 60% and was averaging over 35 points and 13 rebounds. I mean, that's fucking insane. And then on the other side, the Phoenix Suns, I knew they came up short, but What they did was so fucking impressive, and I would be so proud if I was a fan. I mean, last year they were terrible. They were good in the bubble, but they were terrible last year. They've been terrible ever since Steve Nash left. They haven't even been close to even making the playoffs. But they made all the right moves in the offseason. Devin Booker looks fucking amazing. They get Chris Paul. Really happy for DeAndre Ayton. I mean, people were saying that the Suns really fucked up in the draft by not taking Trae Young or Luka. Granted, those two players are better than DeAndre Ayton, but it's showing that he wasn't a bad number one pick. Like, he's not a bust by any means. He's fucking good. He's a great player. So I'm really happy that really worked out. But back to what I was saying, the Phoenix Suns made all the right moves in the offseason. They end up with the second best record in the NBA. They make the fucking finals. They just had to play against Giannis, which really fucking sucks. But they should be incredibly proud of what they did. And Monty Williams, incredible coach. I really hope they're sticking around. I think they will be. Granted, we have to see what Chris Paul does next, but I'm really happy for them, for what they could do. I'm sad for Chris Paul for not getting that ring. It was hard to root against him in these finals, but I was really rooting for Giannis. I just like him a lot. But I just gotta say, hats off the Phoenix Suns. I think they're going to be back for sure. I don't know about the finals, but I'm just kind of rambling right now. But they're definitely here to stay for a little bit at least. And now I want to talk about the playoffs because there are a lot of great moments. There are a lot of shocking moments. And I'm really happy these finals ended up being really fucking great because, in all honesty, these playoffs were kind of a disappointment to me because of all the injuries. There's a lot of superstars out, a lot of all-stars, and then a lot of just good players that are just out. And that sucks when you're a fan. You want to see all these players play in the playoffs. And that has to do with probably the shortened offseason and probably the condensed regular season. We won't get into that. But with all these injuries, it did make the playoff experience not as great. I mean, it did suck seeing a lot of these teams at full strength. And there's going to be an argument years to come about this Milwaukee championship. If there's an asterisk by it because of all the injuries, if they would have won with everyone healthy, if they even would have made the finals, all of that. And I get their argument. I do. But my point is this. I guess I don't really fucking care anymore because it's not like the Bucks chose this to happen. They were dealt the cards that they were dealt with, and they ended up winning the whole fucking thing. It's not like they have to forfeit if people get hurt. They don't want anyone to get hurt, but shit happens. Injuries happen all the time. When we talk about this championship years from now, like decades from now, people are going to forget about all the injuries. Some people won't, but for the most part, people are going to look at the history books and they're going to see Milwaukee Bucks 2021 NBA champs and Giannis Finals MVP. Injuries happen each year. So I don't think this should really diminish their championship run. Shit happens. And speaking of their championship run, let's not act like it's a cakewalk. I mean, they had to play Miami in the first round, which they swept, and that's the team that beat them last year. Granted, I know they were not as good as this year as they were last year, but still, they came back, ended up sweeping them. Next round, they got to play the Nets. Kyrie was healthy for some of those games. I know James Harden got hurt. He didn't play until the last two games, and he really wasn't himself. But he still played a little bit. And you still have to play against Kevin Durant that was playing like the best basketball of his career. He was literally going off that whole entire series. So that's fucking hard to do. Let's go to the Eastern Conference Finals. The Bucks end up playing the red-hot Hawks. And then Giannis gets hurt. He's gone for 2 games, but they persevered, came together, and still beat the Hawks. And then we go to the finals. They got to play the team with the second best record in the league. They look like they're on fucking fire. There was a chance that Giannis wasn't going to play game 1 because he got hurt. Ends up playing through that injury because that injury did look pretty fucking bad in the Eastern Conference Finals. And he absolutely demolishes everyone. So their finals run is extremely impressive. Something to definitely write home about. So I guess my point is we shouldn't be focusing on the what-ifs of these NBA playoffs and look at what actually happened. And give the Bucks all the credit that they definitely deserve. Congratulations to the Milwaukee Bucks, Giannis, everyone. You 100% deserve it. I'm so happy for this small market team to win. It shows that you can build it from the inside. You don't have to go get free agents to win a championship. It shows that this works. I think this is great for the NBA moving forward. Hopefully superstars will decide to stay in a small market and try and win with that organization, build the right pieces around them, have the front office step up and build a championship team around their superstar. I hope that all happens. And then moving forward the NBA with the season, I wonder when they're going to start. They could have already announced when the next season starts. I really don't know. I haven't done any research, but I'm curious if they're going to start it again in like December. hopefully keep this cycle, because it was kind of nice for the playoffs to go all the way till now, and I'm pretty sure preseason for the NFL starts in like 2 weeks. So I'm a big fan if they keep it like this. But if they start it again in November, I guess it's another shortened off season, and they might run the same problems. But then I guess next year it'd be back to normal. I'm curious to see what happens next season with people healthy. I saw the Nets are the favorites to win the title. I see the Lakers are favorites to win the West, which that'd be a great finals matchup, something we want to see. But I just appreciate the Milwaukee Bucks for now. So happy for Giannis. He 100% deserves it. And like I said before, I'm excited to see what happens in the next few months, and obviously next season. So the 2021 NBA Finals. Let me know what you guys thought of it. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. And thank you so much for watching. Click here to see more of Dave's Takes.